Still to come, my experience in Maplin's in Kingston yesterday. Not pleasant. Luckily, I have a radio programme. I can highlight problems that they have in their store there. Anybody else just gets sort of fobbed off and you probably just walk out the door with your tail between your legs. Not me. Not yesterday. So anyway, so here's the story. Yesterday, I decide I want to go out and I want to get a dummy CCTV camera. Okay, I need, for purposes best known to myself, a dummy CCTV camera. So I sort of trawled the internet, and I went onto Google, typed in dummy CCTV camera, and what comes up? Maplin. So I thought, okay, I hadn't thought about Maplins. I'll go to check online. They've got 338 in the store, so they must have them in there. So I go into the one in Kingston, which is quite a big one. If you remember, I've queued outside Kingston before to get the cheap little television thing, and I've never rated the staff in there. In particular, the one in Kingston, where they seem to have got all of life's losers. You know, it's you've got a woman serving you who's got sort of dyed hair with a ring through her nose. Now, I'm sorry, I always think slovenly attitude, you know, from management, slovenly workers. Simple as that. Management who lead, happy workers. Simple as that. So I go in there, and I'm looking at it, and I thought, no, I'll tell you what, I'll do the normal thing. I'll ask somebody. So I'm queuing up at the little bit. Now, there's some bloke debating whether to buy a reel of wire or not, and he's faffing around like an old tart. And there's another girl there who it then turns out is the manageress. So anyway, so she just walks backwards and forwards. So we're still queuing. I thought, you know, you're not actually doing anything. Why don't you just sort of stop and answer? Anyway, this guy then goes, I'll have a think about it. I thought, God, why don't you just go to electrical suppliers, do us all a favour, bugger off. So anyway, so he sort of tiddles off and he's standing there looking at this piece of wire. The other bloke does his thing, there's another guy doing something else, and then I'm all by myself. Then there's nobody serving there at all, and this other girl has wandered off, and then she starts faffing around on the shelves. I thought, well, you must have seen me. You can't be that stupid or blind. So eventually she walks past, and they sort of look at you as if a big surprise. Oh, look, customer in a shop, you know. So she goes, yes. So I thought, you know, I resisted the opportunity to go, oh, no, only if you're not busy, really, don't want to take you away from anything. So I said, dummy CCTV cameras, there. And they sort of point generally, you know, luckily, I have the gift of sight. I went, oh, right, lovely. So I pick one up, and I go to the till. Now, unfortunately, there's one bloke who's still half serving a bloke who wanted the wire, using up one of the tills. The other bloke is ginger, and he quite clearly doesn't have much pride in his appearance. His hair was dirty, he looks slovenly, and there's none, you know, sorry to keep you waiting, none of this kind of stuff. And there's a woman in front of me, probably about, I don't know, 50 to 60, something like that. And so she said, oh, my son bought this before Christmas, but he's gone back to Canada and he doesn't need it now. So this bloke looks at her and he goes, he bought it before Christmas. He said, 14-day, it's run out. Can't give you money back. So she goes, well, he's gone back to Canada and I don't, you know, obviously it was not much use to her, so I'll give you a credit note. Well, quite clearly this woman wasn't going to buy anything in Maplin's. So, and he's standing there, I mean, the attitude was just, I really couldn't give a toss about you. You know, you're wasting my time. What do you want? You want your money back? I can't give it to you. I'll give you a credit note, alright? So anyway, eventually, while they're faffing around with her, slovenly boy with the ginger hair then says to me, yes. So, of course, I'm clutching my box. So I give him the £30. And it's because it's a dummy camera, it's a reasonable size box. So, having taken my £30, gives me the receipt. And the same with all these shops. I had this 3 times yesterday. You go to W.H. Smith, you buy some birthday cards, and they give you the receipt. And you know damn well they're going to have to ask you the question, do you want a bag? And of course I've given up going, how else? You know, what do you want to do? Just walk out with it? No, put it in a bag. Don't be so thick. So anyway, so this bloke goes, we haven't got any bags. Fatal mistake to say to me. Fatal. I'd had enough of people, you know, asking whether you want bags. And then this one proudly tells me, having paid him 30 quid, I haven't got any bags. I thought, well, if you think I'm walking around with this without a bag, you've got another thing coming. So I said, what, you've got no bags in the shop? No. And I felt like saying, it's probably due to your incompetence, isn't it? Or perhaps your manager's a bit thick. So I said, oh, give me my money back. So he goes, give you your money back? I said, yeah, I don't want it now. Give me my money back. So we then go through this palaver. Now, I'm determined to push this. Meanwhile, poor woman with son in Canada is still waiting because they haven't resolved her issue. You know, it's only something like 10 or 12 quid. I want my 30 quid back and I want it now. It's as simple as that. So he then goes, oh, this is a bit of effort for Ginger Boy. Bit of an effort for him. So he goes on the till. I thought, you know, you just open the till, give me my money back. Simple as that. Have your postcode? No, you can't. You know, I didn't pay by credit card, I paid by cash. I can't give you cash back without the postcode. So I said, well, you will give me my money back without my postcode. There's no two ways about this, sunshine. And so then the girl, the one with the earring through her nose, quite clearly the class act of the place, goes, you can't have your money back without the postcode. So I said, I will. I promise you I will. And so anyway, so she sort of sneeringly looks at me, and I thought, right, lovey. This is about time that Maplin's got to kick up the arse for employing bozo staff. This is why, you know, most people order on the internet. At least you get better service. You don't have to put up with this kind of stuff. So he says, I'll call the manager over. So over she comes, the woman who'd been wandering around, you know, not doing a great deal in the store. Comes over, I can't do that without your postcode. I said, well, you're not having my postcode. I said, put your own postcode in. Doesn't work like that. I said, well, I don't really care. Want my money back. Simple as that. So anyway, so the other girl with the earring through her nose is sort of looking at me a bit sneeringly, and I'm thinking, I don't like you. I don't like the attitude of this shop. I don't like you. I'm not giving you my business. I don't care whether or not you get down on your knees and lick my shoes. I'm really not interested. If I don't think I'm getting good service, I'm not giving you my business. Simple as that. Give me my money back. So anyway, she pushes a couple of things on the till. I get my money back. So I take my £30, and by this time I'm ready to drag them both over the counter. And so I said to the girl with the earring through her nose, I said, see, you can give me my money back without my postcode. I thought, I'm going to walk out the shop and they're all going to hate me. But frankly, I shall never shop there ever again. Because if that's the sort of service they're offering, and nobody ever complains about these things, you've got to complain about it. If you don't complain about it, they'll never learn. And if that's the kind of slovenly behaviour that you get from the manageress, it filters all the way down to the shop staff. And it's not good enough, and you've got to complain about it. So I was quite glad I got my money back. Strangely enough, I go all the way to Hounslow, I go to Maplin's there, the staff, charming, polite, nice. I was more than happy to give them my money. But I tell you, Kingston, stick it up your bottom. Couldn't care less anymore. Get rid of the manageress, get rid of the staff, get somebody in there who knows how to look after a store and knows how to look after customers. You know, actually, the funny thing is, then Ginger Boy produces a bag. He wanders off and comes back with a bag. So he found one. Yeah, he could have done this in the first place, but quite clearly too bone idle. I said, don't want it. Don't want it now. Taking my business elsewhere. Simple as that. And that's what you should do. Never ever stand there and put up with this rudeness from people when they treat you as if you're nothing. Morning, Steve. Says Anthony, you're so right about service. It's got so that when I do get good service, I'm caught off guard, and I wonder if they've mistaken me for somebody important. I totally agree. And the trouble is, unless that's why, you know, when we've said before on the programme that we've had service from Lakeland. The service from there is exemplary. I cannot tell you how exemplary the service is, and it makes such a difference. So when you go out to a shop, you've got somebody standing there who looks though they haven't had a decent bath in about a week. They're very slovenly, their clothes look dirty. I'm thinking, I'm not giving you my business. Even when this bloke in Maplin's turned up with a bag, I thought, no, why would I want to put up with shoddy service? You know, they should have said, I'm terribly sorry we didn't have bags for you. I'm terribly sorry we weren't able to offer the sort of service which Maplin should be proud of. Instead, they couldn't give a forex. They couldn't have given us stuff. Absolutely dreadful. Steve, are you sure the woman with the stud through her nose wasn't from Barking? I think it was a ring through her nose, actually. She was certainly, you can't have a refund without the postcode. I thought, who do you think you're talking to? I'm a customer, love. I pay your wages. Oh, dear. Claire says, I've had a similar experience at Maplin's. They've always been like that, and thank you for exposing it. But it's just, the trouble is, if anybody else has been in there and had bad service, they never get the opportunity, unless you write to the managing director and say, listen, I'm not having this. This is not the sort of service I expect from a leading high street retailer. And I tell you what, I'm going to go on air and complain about you. We did it with Starbucks because we had the irritating upper self little girl in there who was so rude. I cannot begin to tell you. We got an apology from the managing director. Let's wait and see if Maplin's come back with anything, shall we? Wait and see. I mean, it is just not good enough. And my advice to anybody, if you get bad service in a shop, or, you know, in most shops, they're very good. But if you get bad service, get your money back, walk out, take your business elsewhere. Hit them where it hurts. Hit them where it hurts. So much easier. Another one, I had a problem with Maplin, bought a DVD player, was faulty and changed it 3 times, then requested a refund 3 weeks later. They gave me a credit note. I was told I'd get my cash refund. No, the other thing which they ask as well, it's the address thing. I'm not giving them my address. What do they do with it? They build a database. They do not need your address, as I proved yesterday, for giving you money back. If, you know, it was on a credit card, fair enough. But it wasn't. It was cash. I gave him £30 cash. And I wouldn't mind, but the rude manageress in there, really needs to get her act together. Either she's got an attitude problem, in which case, you know, I was a lesser class citizen, or somebody needs to kick her ass out the shop and get somebody in there who knows how to deal with customers. Simple as that. You know, it's ridiculous.